Going to be basic. There's going to be simple. There's going to be something that like doesn't rub up against all of his things or doesn't rub up against all the fears that I have, that it's like such a thing to be with a powerful woman. So like my fears of anyone that I've dating anyone else, it's like, yeah, I know they're not going to find someone better. They will never.
What's up, guys? It's JQ. One of women's greatest fears after going through a breakup is being replaced by someone better. And that could mean a girl who is hotter, younger, and has some sort of other enviable attribute. And so they will go to great lengths to talk shit about other women that their ex-boyfriend may get together with in order to preserve their own identity and sense of self. And I think we all do this to some degree, but the delusion becomes greater and greater amongst some of these ladies to the point that it's really an unhealthy belief system to be following, and they create worldviews that just aren't grounded in reality. Let's take a look.
The easiest thing about being a powerful woman and dating is that it's like, I'm not afraid of him finding someone better than me. I'm actually more afraid of him finding someone not as good as me.
So right off the bat, you can see the ego and some of the narcissistic tendencies that she has on display. She has a huge ego and she thinks she's a lot of entitlement, and she just thinks she's so great. And so how could he possibly find anyone better than her? But let's hear how she describes what better is.
Because it's like the archetype of someone more simple with less depth, less of a challenge, just nice, just chill, just like basic.
So basic is one of the ultimate disses that women like to give to each other when they want to insult another woman. And what this woman fails to understand is that being a challenge is not necessarily a good thing when it comes to what a man wants. A man wants a woman who is going to be peaceful and is going to help support him in his mission for himself and for the family, which would include her. A smart woman learns to work through her man to accomplish the things she wants to do in life, rather than being an endless difficulty. Men who have options are not going to put up with that kind of behavior. And so it sounds like that could have been a theme in her last relationship, because she's highlighting that specifically. And it sounds like she's referring to her ex-boyfriend finding a girl who seems more basic in her opinion. But what that really means is that the new girlfriend is probably just a lot more easy to get along with and supportive of his goals. And that's what men want.
It's like, that's actually my bigger fear than finding better than me. Because I'm like, there's not going to be better than me.
There's not going to be better than me. That would be impossible. Listen to this. Does this attitude sound fun to be around? I mean, I think that they don't hear the words coming out of their mouth.
Going to be basic. There's going to be simple. There's going to be something that like doesn't rub up against all of his things or doesn't rub up against all the fears that I have, that it's like such a thing to be with a powerful woman. So like my fears of anyone that I've dating anyone else, it's like, yeah, I know they're not going to find someone better. They will never. It's just like them finding someone more basic or more simple, because that's like probably what they want.
You know, and the unfortunate truth for women is that their value tends to peak earlier in their life. And none of them want to admit that. So they like to think of themselves as being so powerful, but power is not about being difficult. Power is about enabling the man in front of you to accomplish his goals. And it's so important that it be like this, because both men and women are happier when the dynamic is like that. I'm not saying that there aren't exceptions to this rule, or we can find a lot of scenarios where the woman is more bossy and dominant than the man. But what we typically find associating that with that is that both of them are unhappy in their relationship. This is why, as a guy, it's so important that you maintain your frame and your power within the relationship, so that your woman doesn't start to feel superior to you. She must always have a healthy fear that she could be replaced. I'm not saying that you threaten her with it. I'm not saying that you go and do it. But she should be a little bit scared of that and know that it is possible if she doesn't maintain good behavior. Otherwise, over time, she will start to erode your masculinity. She will start to feel like she's superior to you. And when that happens and she loses respect, then she's likely to end the relationship. That's the unfortunate truth of how male-female dynamics work. This girl has convinced herself that her ex-boyfriends could not possibly find anyone better than her, but at the same time, she lacks the obvious realization that better for a man means more agreeable, more supportive, more helpful, more useful, It doesn't mean more difficult. That makes a man's life harder, and that's not what powerful men are looking for. And I assume this woman, being a woman, she wants to be with a guy that she looks up to. That's what all women want. And so she's actually doing herself a disservice with this viewpoint. Instead of actually taking a look within and saying, where could I be more giving? Where could I be more submissive? Where could I be more supportive? Where could I be more feminine? Where could I be more kind? She's instead convinced herself that being entitled, bossy, difficult, challenging is a better approach. And it's really not. All right, guys, that's what I've got for you in this video. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and take a look at either of these other two videos. If you'd like to stay in touch, you can subscribe to my email newsletter. There's a link to that in the description below. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.